Hey guys, Boris Schlossberg from BKT. Good to be with you again. Another very decent week of trading. But I think this was an interesting week because we had a couple of trades that could have really made us a lot of money and only made us a little bit of money. And I think this is a lesson to learn about trading, that sometimes you only get half of the juice. It's a game of probabilities. You make the best possible bets you can, but sometimes the market just doesn't give you everything that you could have possibly had. I think nothing exemplifies this better than the Aussie CAD trade we had at the beginning of the week on the 19th. And the trade was actually set up on a very interesting idea. We were both basically bullish Canadian retail sales. There was nothing pro-Canada that worked well except this one particular trade, which was the Aussie CAD trade. If you take a look at the dailies here, you can see that it was in a deep downtrend. And remember, we always like to sell in a trend. That's the key thing with our technical analysis. So we came in basically like right around here, selling it. And here's what happened on a moment-to-moment basis. We come in, and actually Aussie CAD really doesn't cooperate for most of the night. It hangs around at 92.51, actually even rallies 20-30 points against us, then comes back down, then comes back, rallies, lots of whipsaw action until finally event risk comes in. And event risk comes in at around 8:30 and totally validates our position, which is that Canadian retail sales were hot. But as is very typical with Canadian data, event risk moves it very quickly into our buy zone, and then all of a sudden it retraces back up. So we only make 30 points. The thing retraces back up, takes us out at break even. But the irony of the whole thing is that on a longer term basis, if you look at this thing, we came in at 92.51. Had we been able to stay in the trade, it really worked out to be a huge winner. It's basically 200 points lower several days forward as Canada continued to outperform Australia. Unfortunately, that's the breaks you get. You sometimes just make a little bit of money, sometimes you make a lot of money. The most important thing is that the probabilities were very much on our side, and we made some money on this particular trade. The next trade, very similar type of a situation, but more of a short-term position. This was the pound Swiss trade. Again, here this is pound Swiss trade we took on Thursday. Just bear with me. I'm gonna find it for you. Okay, we are okay. This is pretty much it. The pound Swiss trade that we took on Thursday. We came in at 204.58. Let me just find this. Make sure I have the am I at the right place. Here we go. Here we are. I'm sorry. So we come in at 204.58. In this particular case, again, we are bearish pound UK retail sales. Here's an example of where we were absolutely wrong, actually, but still made quite a lot of money. And the reason here is, again, pound Swiss was in a strong downtrend. We get short. Everybody begins to anticipate. Part of our strategy that works so well is because we get in front of events, a lot of times the speculative flow will actually take us out before the event itself takes place. So here, a lot of speculative money came in, started selling pound Swiss to the downside way before the event even came out. We made our T1 very quickly. And here's an example of where you just get nicked out tactically sometimes. Basically, we get taken out on T1, and I put my stop at 20 points back on a trail back, so plus 50 on the position, knowing that there was going to be a little bit of a retrace over here, knowing that there's going to be always a bounce back in the pound. Unfortunately, my stop is 204.38, and the high of this particular retrace is 204.39. Had we not been able to be taken out on this particular retrace, there was a little bit more juice to go, and I probably would have been able to make at least 70 to 90 points because I would have trailed the stop below the 204 handle and would have been able to actually take ourselves out. Irony of the whole thing, of course, is that retail sales actually were very hot. The whole thing completely turned around, and the trade actually went the other way afterwards. But all of this tactics beforehand were some of the things that we were using to make sure that we were going to always bank profit. The key thing, I think, from this whole week is that you can never, ever guarantee yourself a particular amount of profit, but you can put yourself in a position to at least make some of it in the best possible way. And that's all you can do in the long run. And sometimes you're going to hit the home runs, sometimes you're going to hit the singles. This time we hit some singles and doubles, and it wasn't such a bad week. We're going to see you next week with more trades for BKT, and I'll talk to you later. Boris Schlossberg.